The world will never be the same once you see it through the eyes of Fareway Frank.
Frank, we'll sell London broils, New York strip steaks, pork chops, pork steaks.
Frank's mama always said, life is like a T-bone steak. When you shop at Fareway, you know exactly what you're gonna get.
Spring is here. It's time to start thinking about family fun in the outdoors. This is Chris Williams promoting my good friends at Plaza RV in Bondurant. I've now bought 2 travel trailers from this locally owned company in the past 5 years. It's completely changed my family's life. We love spending time in the outdoors, tailgating, and most of all, being together. Camping has been an awesome escape for us, and I would encourage you to think about it as well. Head over to their lot in Bondurant. They have motorhomes, travel trailers, truck trailers, fifth wheels, and more. Check them out today at PlazaRV.com. They're 100% locally owned. Tell them that Chris Williams sent you.
Nate Bargatze, the Be Funny Tour.
I mean, Chuck E. Cheese is rough. I don't know if you've been there in a while. They look like they're trying to go to business and they can't.
All new material.
They filed for bankruptcy and they're still open. They called Blockbuster and they're like, how do you get out? We want out.
Nate Bargatze, Saturday, May 18th, Wells Fargo Arena. Tickets available at HighVTix.com or the box office. Don't miss Nate Bargatze, the Be Funny Tour. Produced by Outback Presents.
2 guys, 2 Chris's, 1 network. Iowa everywhere. It's time for 2 Guys with Chris Williams and Chris Hassel. Presented by Fareway Meat and Grocery from the Channel Seed Studios. Where? Everywhere. Live and always on demand at Iowa Everywhere.
Man, I want to go to that spring revelry. We've been playing those ads for a while, and all I want to do is just go and drink a beer with Ryan Bingham now, you know?
He's the one on Yellowstone, right?
Yeah. Oh, he's so good. Rip like wants to kill him because he's got an eye for Rip's girl. Man, what a time! And then we just got a lot of good stuff coming up right now because the Bargatze thing with Iowa Event Center, like this is good. This is good time.
Hey, did you catch my interview with Trampled by Turtles the other day?
I haven't. It's on my list. I will catch up on that. How did it go?
Little all access interview with the lead singer of Trampled by Turtles. He invited me backstage to hang out. You know, you could come watch Bingham with me if you want.
So I'm pissed. It's like I would absolutely have my camper out at Spring Revelry, but that is my big NASCAR weekend in Kansas. That I will be down at the in the infield camping for the NASCAR.
Is MJ going to be there? I saw yesterday MJ won an Xfinity race. One of his drivers.
No, the Cup. He won the big race.
That was the big one.
Pull up, Matt. Pull up. I put out a tweet yesterday with the car. Hassel, you being an old Bulls guy will really appreciate this. So these Jordan cars are 23 and 45, and they often are sponsored by the brand Air Jordan. I think this is one of the best cars to ever be in NASCAR.
Damn.
As far as a paint, look at that thing.
Oh, that's
look
the
how
45. Okay. So who was driving it? Who won?
His name is Tyler Reddick. He's a young up-and-comer. He'll win multiple championships by the time he's done. Jordan,
who would have thought MJ would be more successful as a NASCAR owner than running an NBA team? I mean, he's already seen more success. Just this one victory is more success than he's ever had in the NBA in the front office.
He will be a championship owner. There's no doubt in my mind.
Wow.
in the
If that's the case, that's going to bring a lot of new eyes to NASCAR too.
Yeah, and like these cars are so cool. Like they just his team, and then there's another one that's like they're kind of changing the like good old boy image in NASCAR, and it's really cool. It's in fact like I have like my favorite driver and stuff, and these Jordan cars, like I just find myself like they are my second favorite drivers. The guy just because I'm a Jordan guy, right? It was badass. It was a cool scene yesterday. Anyways, welcome to Two Guys here on Iowa Everywhere. We are presented as always by our friends at Fareway Meat and Grocery. We are in the Channel Seed Studios, and we have spring football, not spring revelry, spring football to talk about. We got some transfer portal stuff with Iowa State. I'll give you the skinny on that. I was at Iowa State's spring game on Saturday. There wasn't a lot to take away. Like first of all, Iowa State marketing, we got to quit calling it the spring game. It's not a game anymore. It's okay. I'm not upset with anyone. Let's just lower the expectations. It was fun, actually, if you're a geek like me, because they didn't really play any of the studs. I don't need to see
Well,
Rocco
I bet it was
Becht.
fun for you. You were up in the suites.
I
You
was.
probably had access to alcohol.
I had a Ames lager in hand. Up with my guy
Jeez, just
Coop.
sitting down on all the peons.
Yeah, it was great. I had my feet up. I was being served caviar. Actually, they had some Rice Krispies, but same thing. No, it was because I don't go to these things. Hassle to watch Abu Sama and Rocco Becht. I know what they can do.
Mm-hmm.
I'm here to watch the backups, and let's see what these boys got who are in the two deeps. But I am a full-fledged like sicko though. Like that's the type of stuff that keeps me up at night. Gets me all hot and bothered watching the depth, right? Like this is not a normal. I said this to my dad who was with me. I was like, normal people don't come and watch this half-ass scrimmage that they call a spring. Like this is not for like the casual fan. Like you got to be a real sicko to be doing what I was doing and taking handwritten notes during a spring scrimmage.
Because like you said, it's not a game. It's hardly even a scrimmage. It is just a practice. That's all it is.
Yeah. And because they know fans are there with like, they're not doing anything. They're only doing like a fourth of their playbook. So it's really just like an opportunity to like see the players run, essentially.
And in the case of Iowa, it's an opportunity to just bitch and moan. And God damn it, it's going to be the same thing again.
Cade McNamara was limping around. Like, what's the situation here? I'm going off of you. You were just hate texting me during the Iowa spring scrimmage. It was like, oh my God, it's football season. Yes. What is the scoop over there? So Deacon Hill was just like sailing passes. Like what?
Yeah,
happened?
Deacon Hill, first team reps, and then we got our first look at Cade. All I had seen are like still pictures. First look at him.
Oh, he's limpy.
Oh, it's not good. And listen, he still has 4 months to go to really be ready. But the guy can hardly move. And what is he removed from? 4 or 5 months removed from surgery. I don't know where I expected him to be right now. I guess I expected him to be moving a little bit better, maybe not have the brace, maybe be participating a little bit more. Ferentz claims he's going to be a full go by June, or at least that's the hope. And it's just a reminder that you can't count on this guy. Whether or not he gets healthy for the season, I just, in the back of my mind, I'm just thinking it's a matter of time before he gets hurt again. And how healthy is he actually going to be when this season starts? Is he going to be anywhere close to 100%? Like the 100% that we thought we were getting when we paid him all that money to come from Michigan? I don't think so. I don't think he'll ever be there again. All the injuries he's suffered and how injury prone he is. And then you look over in Deacon Hill, he's just doing the same garbage that he was doing in games last year. He threw a bad interception. He was just rifling passes that he didn't need to rifle, missing the mark, throwing it in the dirt, getting strip sacked at the goal line. I mean, it's the same shit. And then you got Marco Lainez, who, we looked at the stats, the unofficial stats, and they had pretty similar stats, but at least the guy can move. He can run. And we saw that in the bowl game last year.
I like him.
Give him a chance.
I don't know. And I don't know this Tim Lester. He might be the next Mike Leach for all we know. But, there's no way anybody there with a straight face can tell me that Deacon Hill's a better option than this Marco line. There's anyone with a straight face can tell me that.
And every time Ferentz is asked about it, he says, well, he has more experience.
Yeah, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. Of course he has more experience. You keep putting him in there. The other guy can't get experience if you don't let him.
And he also says we've got to value the football. We got to take care of the football. We can't turn it. That's all the guy does. He's a turnover machine. And as a lot of other people have pointed out, and some RA in the comments says Deacon Hill hasn't gotten in any better shape. He still looks like an offensive lineman playing quarterback. He's not giving us any reason for hope. In fact, if that guy takes a meaningful snap, that is really another damning check mark on Kirk Ferentz and his decision making. And what this did was just reaffirm what a lot of us have been saying for go back a year. Get in the damn portal and get somebody in there. Now, the problem you have now, this spring portal, it's not like the portal in winter. I mean, it's slim pickings.
And you don't have a whole year to work with the guy.
No.
If he comes in January, it's different than coming in June.
I hope Lester's offense doesn't take 3 years to learn like Brian Ferentz's.
They got all that motion.
Did. Yes, but there's a lot more motion. I mean, it sounds like it should be more difficult to learn, but I don't know. The quarterbacks in Brian Ferentz's system would always say how it takes years to master. So I went onto the 24/7 Sports transfer portal rankings and just took a gander at some of the guys.
You went
that are
shopping
on here.
You go a little window shopping here.
I went shopping.
Okay, what'd you find?
Well, there's not much. There really isn't. I mean, there's a kid named Nick Evers who was originally offered by Iowa. He was a 4-star, went to Oklahoma, didn't play. Then he went to Wisconsin, didn't play. There he is, number 7.
Is Iowa actually recruiting this kid?
No, this is just me.
This is just you.
Dude, there's only 8 quarterbacks that have a pulse in the portal right now.
So and you want this kid. This is your guy.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying these are a couple of options.
So what did Ferentz say real quick?
This guy visited UConn over the weekend. So
come on.
Yeah. So then there's one other guy. I won't get to what Ferentz said. There's one other guy that I think this guy sounds like a more viable option for Iowa.
This is Colin the guy I would want. I like this guy. He's a good player.
He was at Kent State, Colin Schlee. Then he went to UCLA. I saw him a little bit. I had a UCLA game last year, and he's a great running quarterback. He's big. He's fast. But he also has experience. I think that's what Iowa needs in the portal. You don't want some guy like a Deacon Hill, who kind of like a Nick Evers, who's never seen the field. I want a guy who's been there, done that, even though it hasn't been great. Just get somebody with a pulse in there. And Schlee, he started at Kent State. He saw a lot of playing time at UCLA. But Van Wink, did you get the tweet that I sent you? So I'm looking at this Schlee guy. Okay, he looks like this is a viable candidate here.
Mm-hmm.
I type his name into Twitter, and this is the first thing that pops up on Twitter. Van Wyk, make sure you can see the caption on this video, okay? Because the caption on this video from the bowl game says, backyard football play by Colin Schlee. And look at the play here. I mean, this is backyard football. He's extending the play from the 5-yard line,
I want this
running
guy.
parallel, and then shoveling it to the end zone to a tight end for a touchdown. Backyard football, which is exactly what Iowa doesn't want.
Brian Ferentz is just vomiting watching that.
Oh.
Just projectile vomiting all over.
So Kirk Ferentz,
Yeah, what
obviously,
are the chances they add a portal quarterback in your estimation?
in my estimation, based off
Yes.
what he said, 20%.
Well, coaches lie.
Here's what he said. He was asked about, adding a quarterback in the portal because Cade McNamara's injury propensity, and right now Deacon Hill is the guy. Like, Deacon Hill cannot be the goddamn guy, okay? He said, quote, "If there's an opportunity that presents itself, we will consider it." See, that's where I think they've got it all wrong. They cannot just sit on their hands. You got to be proactive. If you're serious about winning, you can't just sit back and wait. Like Colin Schlee, if you could get him, he could help.
Isn't there an opportunity right now with a quarterback who's coming off a serious injury and a backup who looked like garbage last year? Isn't that your opportunity? Like, go get him.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like, you cannot. If an opportunity presents itself, we will consider it.
But
what?
I'm going to go deeper here, and this will be the ultimate test to define the final act of the Ferentz era at Iowa. It's my old saying, evolve or die, right? Like, without the Big Ten West thing now, if you don't evolve and get in the game, you will die. Like, and I don't know, this year's schedule's not terrible, but like when they get to playing like the real, like you can't roll dudes like Deacon Hill out there and be going 8-4 every year, like, or even like 9-3. Like Iowa's been 10-2 and people have been pissed off. Then you're gonna start being 7-5. A really good year is 8-2, 8-4 as opposed to 10-2. Like, this is the evolve or die era for Kirk Ferentz going into this new look Big Ten.
Yeah, they are still insulated with the 3 protected rivals from the old Big Ten West.
That helps.
I think they're gonna add, one, maybe in some years 2 tougher games to the schedule, and that would make a big difference. I mean, we saw it last year; they couldn't even score a point against a ranked team.
It's like, oh well, Purdue sucks, but we're replacing them with, Michigan or whatever. Like, I don't know. Like, just saying, like, this, it may not happen this year, it may not even happen next year, but in the final act of Ferentz, he's going to have to start making these moves faster because the competition's going to be so much better.
But, like, we're demanding it right now. Where was this going into last season? Where was this in the winter? Like, you knew you would be in this exact position. Let's just go back to the wintertime when all the guys are in the portal. I mean, there are so many guys in the portal, it's hard to even, like, I would have a hard time picking out 2 that are a possibility. You knew Cade McNamara was going to have this long recovery process. And by everything I'm told, he's kind of, pretty much right on time with his recovery. This is where he should be. You knew that Deacon Hill was there. You knew that you were going to allow Deacon Hill to steal reps from Marco Lainez just because he's had...
Is Lainez the new Labus?
Yeah, he is.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Like, that's just his spot on the show now. It's his character.
So now you're stuck with what they have to offer in the portal, which is not much. Like, there's not. You go and look at the rankings. There are only 8 quarterbacks that are even ranked in the portal right now at 24/7 Sports. And I just picked out 2 of them because a lot of the other guys, they didn't seem to fit, or they just seem like they shouldn't be at the level of Iowa. Now, when you're bringing this guy in, whoever it is, I mean, I think you're telling this guy, look, there's a good chance you're going to be starting games this year if you bring in a guy like Colin Schlee. Because, look, a lot of the guys at the top, like a Nick Evers, for instance, I think they're going to be looking at, like, I need to have a starting opportunity.
Yeah.
I mean, that
and then
guy's
you can just transfer again next year. There's no limits.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. But I do think I want a guy with experience starting and somebody who could be just ready to go because that's what's going to happen here. And Van Wink's got at the very top, it's Jaden Rashada, and he's not coming.
I want him.
He's looking for a bag, and somebody will give it to him. Timmy McClain from UCF, another dual threat quarterback. He has
Iowa
played.
should have the money to
He
pay
has
any
started.
of these guys. They don't the collective doesn't even give money to the basketball program.
But you've already given Cade McNamara a ton of money. How much money are you going to give his supposed backup? Who, let's be honest, they're only going to play if McNamara gets hurt, which is probably likely.
Is McNamara better than this Colin Schley? Honest question.
If he's totally healthy, probably.
Okay, I don't know. Honest question.
But is he ever going to be healthy again?
Well, I'm just saying, like, if Iowa, we'll see what this offensive line kind of evolves into now in the post-Proctor era. I don't know. Like, would you be better off with a guy like that who can just use
That's a
his
good
legs?
point. That's a really good point with this offensive line the way it is. And, yeah, they got a preferred walk-on from North Dakota over the weekend.
I do think that if as long as this Tim Lester isn't a complete and total disaster, that their line should perform better strictly off of the offensive coordinator. Just by play calling alone, it should make the offensive line better. I refuse to buy into Iowa fans blaming the offensive line for the last 5 years or so. Like, have they been the best Ferentz lines? Absolutely not. But again, I will throw my head into a brick wall, pounding it to say that if the defense knows exactly what you're going to do, it makes it very difficult to play offensive line. So maybe that helps in that scenario.
Ferentz was asked about the offensive line. He didn't say the offensive line is better. He said the offensive line is definitely more physical than it has been in the past. So I guess that's a good thing. But you're right. Like, even if Cade McNamara is out there, how well is he going to be able to move around?
Not very.
No. Even when he's fully recovered from this latest rehab. So he's going to get hit. He's not going to have a ton of time to throw it. He's not going to be able to extend plays, which I guess is what Iowa loves. Is what's the upside? Yeah, and I know Brian Ferentz is gone now, but let's be honest, that's a Kirk Ferentz thing. I don't like the position they're in offensively. Maybe they go out and they add one of these guys in the portal. That would certainly be nice. But who's to say they add Colin Schley and they still don't stick his ass behind Deacon Hill? What are you writing down? You keep writing things down. Are you taking notes like Kirk Ferentz during a game? You look like Kirk Ferentz. You get a punt blocked. You get a punt blocked, and then he starts writing things down on his little notepad.
Don't you think it'd be great to have a T-shirt that's like black and gold that says "Huge Marco Guy"? People could wear around.
Well, yeah, until he transfers after this upcoming season, I'm sure.
What do you think about a shirt that says "Coaches Lie" in the school colors?
That's your shirt.
How about
people would wear that shirt? People.
I get more action than the Iowa offense.
Writing it down. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
The most excitement over the weekend
really...
was they were tweeting out videos of the punter going coffin corner.
We had the whole deal in Ames where everybody was just counting the field goals because the kickers went like since when the thing started, they started like 0 for 2, and everybody was like,
"Here we go again."
But then they recovered. They recovered nicely. Had some good makes. These spring games though, we as an industry, now it's not up to you and me, but I'm saying like these, I don't really blame the programs because everything has evolved so much that in 1990, when we were going to watch Hayden Fry and Tom Osborne and Dan McCarney's spring games, nobody had video cameras that they were to. I understand why they're paranoid and don't want to show much. I get it. And it's different because fans get content year-round on these teams. It used to be, oh, Iowa signed this kid named Tim Dwight. He's really good. Let's go to the spring game and watch him for the first time. It's just so different, but we're still trying to market it like these things are like competitions. It's very we I don't know what the answer is. I think it's good to get fans in the stadium and players can play in front of some people. But I'll tell you, in Ames, like the weather sucked.
Oh, it looked terrible. People were out there in winter coats and stocking caps.
They're like in parkas, but I'm telling you, more people were tailgating than at the game. They were just out there getting drunk. Yeah.
It gives you an excuse to do that. Yeah, sure. Why not?
And then they had that size trivia, so that starts at like 6.
Oh, that's that the same night, huh?
Yeah, so they started this. This was a major mistake, and I don't think anybody thought through this. So you had all these people at the spring game who just were getting hammered. And then the spring game only lasted like 45 minutes in Ames. And everybody
they were only out there for 45 minutes?
They were out there they promoted that the game would start at 11. Our guy Derek's going to just kill me because I was giving him shit about this. They promoted that the game started at 11. They started it at like 10:15.
Oh my God.
So everybody who got there at 11 just saw like the back half of it. Anyways, all these people get done. I don't know how many thousand people were there. Definitely not 5,000, probably 2,500. I don't know. But there were a ton of people in the lots. And then all these people were just waiting around all day for trivia. That was the drunkest I've ever seen Size House of Trivia in my life.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, people were just bombed. I started drinking Diet Pepsis.
It's no wonder. It's no wonder we did so well this year.
I know. I was completely stone cold sober at trivia.
It was a little sloppy this year.
Doesn't happen very often. You want to see I saw the Eclipse librarian side of Van Winkle on Saturday. That son of a bitch gets competitive during a trivia competition. My God.
Does he really?
Damn right
yes.
I do. You put me in charge of writing the answers down, and I got a story though for you, Hassel. So the category is finish the song lyric.
Uh-huh. Oh, is it a Gary Allen song?
No.
I'm just sitting out here watching airplanes.
So it comes to the category. It's Toby Keith song. And Williams,
we'll put a boot in your ass.
And Williams is nowhere to be seen at the table.
He is
taking a leak during the Toby Keith song at Size House. We didn't know the answer. We needed Williams. Sure enough, he stumbles back in
Daddy
a few
came
rounds
back.
later.
Daddy came back and knocked it out of just like Gene and Roy.
Do you remember the lyric, like what it was?
That was it. It was from Should Have Been a Cowboy.
Should have been a cowboy.
And then it's the line after that?
Yeah. No, it was the lyric I needed to pull was just like Gene and Roy singing those campfire songs.
I wouldn't have gotten that.
I told Crystal I thought it was just like Sig and Roy. Like
Sig and Roy? Just like having a Sig with Roy.
No, Siegfried and Roy from Vegas.
So,
oh, God. Travis says he's still hungover from Size House of Trivia.
Oh, my God. I've been to all these pretty much, and I don't know if it was the distance between. That's my theory, is all these people just went to the bar in between for like 6 hours.
Oh, God.
And then they get all the free beer they want when they get there. And, like, it was cold out. Like, there wasn't much to do. It's not like, I'm going to go walk with my wife on campus. It's like sleeting. It's just a horrible day. Anyways. So the reason this made me feel super old. So Matt Campbell in the offseason hired Jake Waters. Do you remember him, the old Kansas State quarterback?
Mm-hmm.
He's now on Campbell's staff. And I bumped into Jake, and I hadn't seen Jake in a really long time. I used to call his high school football and basketball games.
He was on the Clarinda Academy team?
No, he was on Council Bluffs St. Albert. He was their star quarterback and really good basketball player. And I called games for the whole western side of the state and the station I was at. So we always called, and they won like 2 state championships when I was over there. And I called his games, and now he's a coach for Matt Campbell at Iowa State. And I That's where I was at when when the Toby Keith thing came on, and I was just like, God, you make me feel, because I'm not that much older than him, but it was like that 5-year thing where I graduated college and he was a senior in high school, so it's like probably 6 years older than him. But goddamn, like I'm almost 40. I need some WD-40 in the old joints. You know what I'm saying? Like I felt really old on Saturday night. I'm
The
like
Clarinda Academy
drinking.
football field, did it have barbed wire around it so they couldn't escape?
No barbed wire, but they did have armed guards. So if a kid tried to run off.
Wow.
I have some slightly breaking news, by the way.
Oh, God.
Gary Dolphin on Twitter is reporting that Ed Podolak is transitioning out of the Hawkeye football radio booth as color commentator.
Interesting.
I think this is the real Gary Dolphin. Yes, it is.
He says he will provide his analysis and insight on our pregame show starting this fall.
Any thoughts on that, buddy boy?
Wow.
That is breaking news.
Well, it immediately makes me like, who are they going to tab as the new? I mean, could you get? You probably can't get a guy like a Dallas Clark or a Robert Gallery.
Dallas Clark lives in Des Moines.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, it would be great to get one of those Ferentz era, like early Ferentz era stars, or even like a Jared DeVries.
What about Tyler Kluver?
Kluver, yeah. Special teams extraordinaire.
Is there
Adam says Tim Dwight.
Brian Ferentz.
Getting a lot of Brian Ferentz is looking for a job. I don't know. I hope that's.
I hope that Eddie's okay.
I'm guessing it's Ed's decision.
Yeah. Boy, that'll be different, won't it?
Yeah.
Because I don't know. Maybe I'm too old school, but I don't tune into these hometown broadcasts for like elite analysis.
No.
You know, like I kind of like the.
Yeah, I like the. Oh, God damn it!
Hey, pull up one of Hassel's old sound-off bits on Podolak, right? Let's pay homage to the great Eddie. I ever told you about Eddie Podolak's mama's chili? I ever told you that story?
No, I don't think so.
So my old man, we went to the state fair, and I'm like, I don't know, I was probably like 5 or 6 years old. And Eddie Podolak played at Atlantic High School, which is like 40 minutes away from my hometown, same conference, all that stuff. And my dad takes me over to this like stand at the state fair where Ed Podolak is there like pimping out his mom's chili brand. Do you know that?
No.
You could buy Mama Podolak's chili like in like a tin cup. It's like buying some like Campbell's soup. You could buy Ed Podolak's mama's chili. Sat there. My dad was like, "This guy is a god. Chris, you've never seen a better football player than this son of a bitch." And like his Ed Podolak's mom sitting there like, "Eat my chili." Like it was a great moment. I sat there and ate chili with Ed Podolak when I was like 5 years old.
His mom's chili?
Very beany, I remember.
Ooh,
lots of beans. Yeah. Very beany.
See, I'm not a big bean guy. In fact, I would prefer a chili that doesn't have a single bean in it. That's my kind of chili.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm at the worst of those, like this giant lima bean, like kidney bean.
God,
it's fucking awful.
Well, that's interesting news, and we're sure that's a Gary Dolphin.
That's a real Gary Dolphin.
Jeez,
according to Van Winkle. And anyways, there you go. Breaking news here on Two Guys, Iowa Everywhere. 22nd of April. I would love to give you guys more insight on the Iowa State spring scrimmage, but there just wasn't a lot. The one thing I found interesting, Chris, watching the two Des Moines kids, or Des Moines Metro, I should say, J.J. Cole and Connor Moberly split snaps at the number 2 quarterback. There's just a lot more of a Iowa influence on this Iowa State roster than in like 10 years ago. Like there's so many Iowa guys, and that's fun. Like to me, watch where you have two quarterbacks that are kids that we've watched grow up in the CIML. That was honestly what I was paying attention to the most. Cole was definitely better. I think Moberly's still, he's still a senior in high school, right? Like he came in January, so it's not really fair to compare the two. But man, I think that both of these guys are going to be really good. I just, my mind just goes to, because Rocco Becht, like I'm hearing that he is developing very nicely. Ooh. And like I think Rocco is due for this. Jaden Higgins is probably going to be one of the best wide receivers in the Big 12. He's got Ben Bramer to throw to at tight end. You just wonder, like, keeping all these guys happy, because Rocco's just a year older than them, right? Like, Rocco's only a sophomore, and it's an interesting dynamic. But that quarterback room for Iowa State is absolutely loaded. Like, I'm not trying to be a dick, but, like, it is loaded right now. But I wonder about keeping them all happy, because Rocco is not giving up that job. He is the man, and I think he's going to have a big year. What are you rolling your eyes for?
Yeah, could you loan us J.J. Cole for the year? It's just amazing how opposite it is, and yet these two teams line up in September, and Deacon Hill's the starter, and Iowa's going to win the game 10-9.
Iowa will be the favorite. Yeah. Isn't it weird?
Amazing. Okay, real quick too. Back to the Iowa quarterback thing. Mm-hmm. If they were to bring in one of these transfer guys, haven't we heard how hard it is to learn the Kirk Ferentz offense? I know, and with the new OC, like, isn't that going to be a transition too?
Now you got all this motion.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm worried about with Cade McNamara too. It's like his time last year was cut short in the offseason because of the injury he sustained in the fall scrimmage. And so he didn't really have as much time as he needed to be out there learning the offense, getting comfortable with it, and then boom, his season's over. And now again, he's not able to do this. He's not able to go out there. Like Ferentz was saying in the postgame, it's more mental reps than anything for him right now. How comfortable is he going to be when he's finally let loose and able to go? And yeah, bringing a new guy in, I don't know. I've kind of always been of the mindset that and Deacon Hill did not prove me right on this last year, but if you just don't, the less you know, the more you know. Like, Iowa quarterbacks in this Kirk Ferentz era have always been best their first year playing. Whether it was Drew Tate or Ricky Stanzi
Beathard
or C.J. Beathard, they always regress.
Every one of them.
They regress. And I think it's because you get all this shit.
You remember
in their
Nate
head.
Stanley's first year?
Yeah. I mean, he was I thought of all the quarterbacks Iowa's had, he was the most even keel, like on the level.
That one Psyoc game, he threw for like 5 touchdowns. We're like, who the hell is this guy? Like, you're right.
And it's hard to believe that wasn't that long ago.
No.
That the Iowa offense was putting up those and that was a Brian Ferentz offense. Like, what the hell happened? Like, you go to that, and then you go back to Brad Banks. Like, why did you had successful years with these guys, yet Kirk Ferentz is like scared of his own shadow?
What about Brad Banks doing color?
Yeah,
he's in the area, isn't he?
I'm just trying to think of like former Chuck Long has done.
Tavian's around
color. I'm just thinking of guys like that have experience.
Oh, Chuck
and
Long would be.
I don't know that you need experience. Like, as you said, it's less about, really being polished. And this is just a hometown radio call.
I want to hear Eric Heft, like, thinking that he's covering up his mic and actually yelling at a referee in Hilton Coliseum. That's what I want to hear when I tune in to my network broadcast. If I want the analysis, I go to Two Guys here on Iowa Everywhere.
Oh, yeah. We go
Hardcore.
deep, baby.
Part of it's like, I don't know. It's all nostalgia, right? We all listened to Eddie for so long. Well, we need to I hope everything's okay. I mean, that's just where your mind goes. It seemed like
Well, he's still going to be a part of the pregame, so
yeah.
Maybe he will do. Maybe he doesn't want to travel as much anymore. Maybe he's just going to do pregame from where he lives.
Maybe he'll eat Mama Podolak's chili from the booth, pimping that to all of us on pregame. How are we going to get the Ed Podolak Bud and Mary's commercials now? Hey! Go to my friends at Bud and Mary's. They'll get you high.
I have not heard these commercials. What? Bud and Mary's? Wait,
You can get your marijuana card for free. You don't even have to have nothing wrong with you. Just go to Bud and Mary's and you can get high. And hey, if you're having trouble losing weight, they've got Ozempic in there too. Gary, get high as a motherfucker.
I found one clip.
Buddy boy.
I found a hassle.
There's only one clip of all those that I did.
There's one on YouTube that I could find. It's the 2009 Penn State game.
Want to relive some of the highlights. Everybody heard Brent Musburger's call, but not everybody has heard Gary Dolphin and Ed Podolak.
I was wondering about how that might sound.
Yeah, all right, so we're going to go to that tape now. Let's listen to the Iowa Radio Network.
All right, Penn State, let's see what you can do against a real defense. Clark takes the snap. He's going to go for it all in the first play. Oh, my God. What happened, Gary? Penn State already scored. Holy crap. I step into the resting room for 1 second, and this happens. I cut it off midstream. Oh, and you're not the only one needing to change your pants. Gary, if Iowa wins this game, they're going to need to score at least 11 points. Great insight, Eddie. Here's the snap. He blocked the ball. The Hawkeyes take the ball, and it's going to be a touchdown, Iowa! What'd I tell you, Gary? They needed 11. They got 11. You called it, buddy boy. Count it down, Eddie. 2, 1, and God's team prevails again. The Hawks win their 8th. Hey, who's that nut job on the field? Look at this guy. He's down there. He's got his clothes off. All right, we've got Kirk Ferentz live on the field. Great job, Kirk, but I got to tell you, Riley Reef is naked again. Well, yeah, what's your reaction, Coach?
Crap. Real simply crap.
All right, thanks, Coach. Gee whiz. By golly. This is football and it ain't women's soccer.
We're out of time.
Christmas.
Stay tuned for the iWireless post-game show brought to you by Goodfoot.
Oh, man, I forgot about the women's soccer.
Yeah, you get canceled for that now.
So that was like right after Riley Reef, like, I don't know, he got arrested for something, and he was like shirtless. And he was on that team. That was that 2009 team that could have gone undefeated if Stanzi didn't get hurt. Man. Those were fun times.
My favorite part of going back and watching the old
God,
sound
that was
clips.
15 years ago now.
Every time I see a clip of Keith Murphy, like his voice drops an octave every 5 years. When you heard Keith,
Yes.
like if you go back to those like Channel 5 ones, he sounds like this. He sounds like he's a
This
soprano.
is Keith Murphy at Channel 5. Yeah. Even Fales too. Fales is kind of the same way. He had a really
Fales has aged well. You know, it's a man that
Keith's not going to take that. Keith is not going to take that comment.
well, and he's older than all of us. Like Fales is, Fales looks the exact same. So Keith has aged well. He's a very handsome man.
Yes, I think they've both aged well for being. What are they now? 60? They're both 60, right?
Yeah.
Keith's 65, Andy's 60. Andy's 59. I think his 60th birthday is coming up.
All right.
Matt Sampson said that Reef was running around downtown Iowa City with minimal clothes on.
See, that's pre-NIL, baby. Old school. You can just do whatever the hell you want. Yeah, if I'm going to get drunk and just streak around Iowa City, I don't got to worry about my NIL deals. Just going to do it.
I don't think I could make that women's soccer joke now.
No, you would get canceled. That's
Yeah.
they'd
15
be
years
emailing
ago,
the station.
What year did it happen? What year was that? That was that 99? That
Which one? That play?
No, the kick. The kick and the woman.
Yeah, that was on trivia. That was on Size House
How
of
am I
Trivia.
forgetting her name?
It was 1999.
I keep wanting to say Brandy Carlisle, but isn't that a country singer?
Brandy Chastain.
Brandy Chastain, yes.
Brandy
was
Carlisle.
that 99?
Brandy Carlisle is actually married to Gary Allen.
No. Are you kidding?
Yeah,
okay.
I'm kidding. She's just sitting out there watching airplanes.
I'm just sitting out here watching Riley take off his clothes.
Hey, speaking of great country music, our boy Zach Bryan's coming to Wells Fargo Arena Thursday and Friday. We'll be there.
Now, what song? What's his big song?
Somewhere in the Orange would probably be his biggest hit, Matt.
Somewhere in the Orange?
I didn't say orange. I said orange.
Somewhere in the Orange.
Matt, see if you can pull up a Zach Bryan that won't get us kicked off of YouTube.
Wouldn't anything get us kicked off of YouTube anymore?
Geez.
We'll probably get kicked off for playing an old sound-off clip.
Next Star's just
You can find it
down.
somewhere in the Orange.
Oh, wait, I think there's still tickets for the Thursday show. Friday is getting pretty dicey if you want to get to that one. A little
something in the orange, not somewhere.
By the way, Legends and Listeners live at 2 p.m. today. 2 p.m.
What
Monday.
do we got? Like a Iowa spring game recap? Is that?
Oh yeah, I can't wait. Can't wait to
got the
hear what
NFL
fellas have to
draft
say.
coming up on Thursday. Got some Hawks going.
I actually, Doctorman is one of the best draft guys in the country. He's so good at it. Like, he's doing a lot for the Athletic right now. Like, he is really locked in on that. He was giving me some great insight on TJ Tampa last week. So, yeah, that'll be a really good show today at 2 o'clock. I forgot the draft is this weekend. We'll have to have that on.
It's Thursday.
Anyways, real quick, I think Iowa State's going to get a commitment here in the next day or two from Joshua Jefferson, St. Mary's transfer. Really nice player, 6'8", actually, maybe 6'9". He averaged 10 points, 6.5 rebounds per game last year for St. Mary's. Obviously a really good defensive team, and I think he'll fit in perfectly with what they got going on. And this is a high-end portal prospect, too. I mean, a lot of teams wanted him. Iowa State had an in here, Chris, because this kid is a Las Vegas native, and TJ and Nate Schmidt recruited him out of high school when they were at UNLV. So this is a relationship that goes back 3 to 4 years. I'm told he's going to make his decision for sure here in the next 24 to 48 hours. But this would be a really big deal if they lock him in, man. You're looking at a lock preseason top 10 for Iowa State, depending on
everybody else. Is this the last piece that they're looking for?
Yeah, so they would have one more scholarship, but I don't think it's going to be anything like splashy what they do with it, because for a couple things. One, you only have so much money, but two, it's like you only have so much playing time. Like, their roster's so loaded, like everybody can't play 30 minutes a game, right? So I would think they'd be a little more conservative with that 13th spot, but really, like, unless you have injuries, like you don't, or if you're Fran McCaffrey, you don't really play 13 players anyways. So this would be the last piece, I believe, for Iowa State if they could pull him in.
I'm laughing at a comment from Kurt on Twitter. The thought of watching Deacon Hill again made Podolak quit. I mean, it is right after the spring game when he gets all those one-team reps. Gary, I can't take it. Can't do another season of watching that Deacon Hill, goddammit. Have at it.
It's too much motion. It's confusing, Eddie. I've been watching these spring practices. They're in motion all the time. I can't control it. What do you got going on in Iowa City? You said there's a portal guy you think they may get? Matt Cross? Who's this guy? Tell me about him.
Well, I can't tell you I know a ton about him.
Well, let's do a little prep here.
Recently, has played for UMass, right? He's a UMass kid.
So he played for Frank Martin. Did you know Frank Martin's the head coach at UMass?
Yes. Now, his offensive numbers look pretty good. I mean, he's a guy that at UMass was averaging, 13, 14 points a game, pulling in 7 or 8 rebounds a game. But it didn't seem to me, and I didn't do a super deep dive on the kid. I didn't devour film or anything like that, but he does not seem like a kid that's going to come in and add to their defensive prowess. Like, he seems more like an offensive guy that's going to split time with Owen Freeman. I mean, he seems kind of like an Owen Freeman. I mean, the guy, I went straight to his block averages. He's 6'7", 6'8". He has averaged about a half a block a game throughout his career. And he's played quite a while. He's played 3 or 4 years. So to me, it seems like another one of these Ben Cricky type guys. And I want a guy that can be a force at the rim. Like, so that teams can't just come in there and do whatever the hell they want. Van Hwink's got his stats up right now. Last season averaged 15, 8, and 3. 54%.
What does he shoot from 3?
33%.
Yeah. I was going to say, because he's an undersized 4.
But look at his blocks a game. He averaged 0.3 blocks a game last year. And maybe at UMass, maybe this is a guy that plays more on, I don't think because of the rebounds, but might not play inside as much. 6'7". I mean, it's not like he's 6'10".
Yeah.
But
yeah, it's hard telling.
what are we gonna do? Maybe he'd be a nice piece. I don't know. But get a defensive guy in there. Jesus Christ. Get a rim protector. What? Why? Why is it so hard? That's what I was missing. Play some fucking defense. Jesus. Maybe there's another guy they're looking at. I don't know, but it's just.
Hey, I got a problem. I need to get something off my chest. Are you okay with that?
Sure.
So, apparently, this red panda was in a NBA playoff game yesterday where she went out and dazzled the crowd with the same act she's been doing for 40 years that we've all seen a million times. And can you pull up the original tweet, Matt? So apparently, some guy I'd never heard of put it out, and his tweet went viral about like how Red Panda's the greatest act on the planet. And I start catching strays like crazy. All these people think that like I'm some big Red Panda hater. And it's become, apparently it's like part of my brand to shit on Red Panda, that this is my thing. So it's Jared Weiss, NBA. Do you know who that is?
No.
He goes, this is what a champion looks like. And it's just Red Panda. Again, it's incredible. She's doing the same thing she's done for 40 years. It's awesome. Look at flipping them bowls up into her head. Really impressive stuff. I had like 4 people tweet at me within 5 minutes of go ahead, Williams, get triggered. And all I'm saying, she's an impressive individual. She has one very particular set of skills that she is fantastic at. But I've seen it a million times.
That's the problem. That's where your problem is you go to all these games.
Yeah.
You see she's doing a halftime show every single night during basketball season, and she's going to the same places over and over again. So you've seen it so many times. It's just like, see the funniest comedian in the world, but watch him 100 times in a row doing the same set.
Yes.
And it's probably not as funny the 100th time.
What I would like to see is, and this is a challenge, if somebody can get this to Red Panda. I say this with all due respect, ma'am. You need to upgrade your act. Like, these bowls need to be on fire. Like something.
Wait. Listen to this pop she gets, though.
See, that's her in front of an audience that's probably never seen her. This is a WNBA audience at a Celtics game. I'm sorry, this is an NBA audience. I've got WNBA on the mind, man.
You do. It's all we've been talking about.
Maybe start going to different stadiums. Maybe she's graduated now after 40 years in college. She's going to the NBA.
Listen, no. To all you idiots who are tweeting at me, trying to get me all amped up about Red Panda, I am not triggered by Miss Panda. I'm trying to help her. Like, okay, if you're charging $5,000 a night, set the plates on fire. Maybe you can get 6. I'm just saying, evolve your game a little bit, ma'am. We've seen it all.
So
we've seen it all.
Is she on a unicycle? What is that thing?
Yeah, let's see. Yeah, it's
like
an extended unicycle.
An extended unicycle.
So, Pablo Torres, Hassel?
Yeah.
He had her on his podcast like a couple
really?
weeks ago. Yes.
That's awesome. I need to listen to this.
And there was like a petition to get her in the Basketball Hall of Fame for her work.
I'd be okay with that because she's been around for fucking ever. Like, it's great. She's super talented. I couldn't
Does she
get on
wear
a
the
unicycle.
same outfit every night?
It changes a little.
It does? Okay.
I mean, that's an impressive act that she does.
But she's a one-trick pony, huh? One-trick pony on one wheel.
I'm telling you, set the bulls on fire. Let's do our Kelderman Manufacturing Bigger, Better, Bolder to wrap up the show.
Bigger, Better, Bolder. Powered by Kelderman Manufacturing.
You've had a lot of adolescent squeaks in your voice today, Williams. A lot of.
It was from that freaking trivia night. Honestly, like it's so loud in there, and all these people, like, you're just talking to people, and you have to like scream so they can hear you.
Were you emceeing it?
No. That was Fails and Spopker.
Spopker. What an idiot.
The worst. I'm going to give my Bigger, Better, Bolder to the man himself, Jeff Kelderman, who sponsors this segment.
Has he douched up your truck yet?
Not yet, but that's coming, baby. Kelderman and some buddies, I believe. I don't know all the specifics.
Is that Kelderman there?
That's Kelderman.
What is that steering wheel?
He bought over the weekend in an auction, him and some friends, he bought the car from the movie Joe Dirt.
Oh, my God.
I'm pretty sure he's in the car.
Yeah.
That's the steering wheel from the car.
This guy is something else.
So I believe this car from the movie Joe Dirt will now be located in Oskaloosa, Iowa.
Really?
I believe is, yeah. I mean, I don't know the specifics. I'm going down to Kelderman's the Kyle Petty charity ride coming up on May 6th. It's open to everybody. Whoever wants to come down and join me, I'll be down there. But, yeah, I believe this car now will reside in Oskaloosa. How badass is that? The car from Joe Dirt?
Wait, that doesn't look like the same car to me.
I think it's the same car. It's just the paint's a little different.
Well, it used to be orange.
I think, Matt, you're pulling up a wrong photo. I think that's an image from Joe Dirt when Joe Dirt was like a boy. And then Joe Dirt got older, and this is what the car looked like because he never did anything to it, I believe is the...
Okay.
Have you ever seen Joe Dirt? Or you're probably too much of an elitist to watch that.
Who, me?
Thing. Yeah, you.
I saw this movie in New Mexico with my uncle, who I only have met once in my life. I saw this movie with him, and I've never seen him since. This was back in 2001, I think.
So you have an uncle.
Yes. And
you're like...
He lives in New Mexico. We went down there on a vacation because I have some other family down in New Mexico. It's the only time I've ever shot a gun. My uncle Joe took me out into the desert. And in the desert, there's just this area where people like dump their old appliances. And people just go out there and they shoot at the appliances. And he took me out there, gave me this gun, and it was a horrible experience.
That sounds awesome.
Oh, it was terrible. I had no ear protection, so as soon as the first shot fired, I felt like I was underwater. Blew out my eardrums.
This uncle sounds awesome.
This gun that he gave me, it must have been like 30 years old. I shot it, and like something came off the gun, landed on my hand, and burned the hell out of my hand. It was like gunpowder or something.
What is it with uncles and guns?
And then he takes me to Joe Dirt, and we're like the only two people in the theater. And my uncle's a big guy, really big guy. And you know how big guys, they usually have like really funny laughs, like contagious laughs. Like if you watch something funny with a big guy and they get laughing and then you get laughing, he made me feel like this was the funniest movie I had ever seen. And so I get back home and I tell
a good movie.
My friend John, who I went to high school, I was like, we got to watch Joe Dirt. It's unbelievable. I went and watched it with my uncle. It's so funny. So we like rented it from the Blockbuster and we brought it back. And neither one of us laughed the entire movie.
Shut up. It's a great movie.
Oh, it was so bad. It was only good because I saw it with my uncle.
It's
who was
right
just
there
laughing the whole time.
It's right there with Freddy Got Fingered. Like right up there.
Now, what is Freddy Got Fingered, the one where the male prostitute just likes getting fingered all the time?
No, that's Deuce Bigalow, Male Gigolo, another classic. Freddy Got Fingered's the Tom Green one.
Where he just gets fingered?
Daddy, would you like some sausage? That ring a bell?
No.
What is it with uncles and guns? Because my Uncle Dick, back in the day, God rest his soul, he did this like 2-3 times in my life. Where he would get like very sentimental and like hug me and be like, hey, really proud of you, but I want you to keep this. And he would slip me like a gun. You need to have this.
Well, I mean, to be fair,
you need to have this.
You were calling Clarinda Academy games on the radio. Like,
he was an old Vietnam vet.
Protection.
But and then we would be sitting in a race later in his life, and we're having a beer and guy time, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he'd be like, Chris, I got this guy up in Trainer. He's got all the ammunition you need. I'll get you an appointment with him. And I'm like, I really don't think I need it. He's like, no, just do it. I'm going to get you up there on Tuesday, and you need to go and meet with this guy. Like, I don't know if he was, worried that the government was going to come for us and I needed to have my own protect. I don't know. He would always just, slip me a handgun. And I'm like, no, I'm good. I don't know. These uncles, man.
Yeah. That was 2001. I haven't seen him since. My Uncle Joe.
Who's your bigger, better, bolder, Hassel?
Oh. I've got two, and they both do the same thing. They play golf, and they win. Scotty Scheffler and Nelly Korda. Have you seen what these two are doing? So we know what Scheffler did. He won the Masters. So then the week after the Masters, the PGA Tour doesn't want everything to fall off a cliff after the Masters, so they schedule one of their elevated events for right after the Masters so that all the good players have to play in it.
I wonder what all those guys are playing.
Yeah. It's probably not a good idea, but the PGA Tour puts it right there so that everybody has to play, because if you don't, you get fined. So Scheffler plays in this thing after he wins the Masters, and he wins it easily. He won it by 3 strokes. And he didn't even have his A game. Like, the first round, he was not very good at all. I think he shanked the shot.
He's so good.
So he's won 4 out of the last 5 events he's played. The only one he lost, he misread a 5-foot putt that would have put him in a playoff. Nobody's played this well since Tiger Woods back in the heyday. And then you have Nelly Korda on the women's side, who just won her 5th straight event, and this was a major. And you don't have to go back very far on the LPGA Tour where you would not find an American on the leaderboard. Americans had been buried in women's golf by all the great Asian players.
And European, too. There's a lot
There you
of
go
good
again with your little adolescent. What's going on?
Sorry.
And
Little
Nelly
squeaky.
Korda now, she caps off this crazy run by winning a major championship. And she's young. She's 25 years old. Like, she's going to be a superstar. Been waiting for this. Like, we thought Michelle Wie might be something like this, and it never materialized. Nelly Korda might be something to elevate the women's golf game.
That Michelle Wie, they all botched that one big time, man.
They?
You look back, yeah, like all of her handlers and the people in golf, like she wasn't even really winning women's tournaments, and they
put her in men's events, yeah.
Yeah, like it was really botched. Like it ruined her confidence. Like she didn't even want to do it anymore. She got burnt out.
She was really good. Like,
yeah,
I covered her one of the years that she played in the John Deere Classic. And it was a huge deal. It brought in so much more media and attention than there would have been if, it was just a regular John Deere event. And she came really close one year to making the cut. Like she was as good as a lot of those golfers. But she was so young. I mean, what was she at the time? 18? And you're right. She showed her capability. She won a major eventually. Yeah. I think she won the Women's U.S. Open.
She could have been so much better if they just would have let her develop and progress like naturally instead of just throwing her around and all that. Yeah, it was. Maddie, who do you got? Bigger, better, bolder?
By the way, I saw an interesting article about Nelly Korda comparing her to like Caitlin Clark's kind of rise and the next female sports star in America. So interesting to keep tabs on her. Do you want me to give? I mean, we're running late. Do you want me to give?
Sorry, I got real quick.
Mine has just a little bit of a story to it. You guys remember Steele Jantz?
Yeah, hell yeah. Pants.
He was on the podcast with Jeff Woody and Grant Mahoney this week, kicking it on the Cyclone Fanatic Podcast Network. Just a really fun listen if you get a chance.
Awesome.
Go back and listen to that. But it was super random. So yesterday I got a text from my brother and he goes, "Hey, my buddy out in California just met a guy named Steele something." And
there can only be one.
I'm like, no fucking way.
That's amazing.
Steele Jantz? And he goes, "Yeah, text my buddy. He'll tell you the story." So my buddy lives out in Sacramento, and his car got broken into and stolen.
Oh, wow.
And it got led on a high-speed chase up kind of near Tahoe. So quite a ways away from Sacramento. But the police found the stolen car in near like Grass Valley, which is just west of Tahoe, and it got towed to Steele Jantz's tow lot in Grass Valley. And he just so happened to mention, oh yeah, I think he was wearing an Iowa State hat, or Iowa State came up, and he mentioned, oh yeah, my buddy went to Iowa State, and there's the connection. It's just wild. It's not really a bigger, better bowler, but I thought it was a funny story. And shout out to the legend Steele Jantz.
Netflix could do like a reality show following Steele Jantz around.
That is crazy.
And his towing company is named Dark Knight. Love it. Shout out Stu.
His older brother's name is Truck. Like the guy is
his old Truck Jantz?
Yeah, Truck Jantz.
Wait, his towing company should have been called Steel Truck.
I think the other one's name is Brogan.
The Jantz boys. Like that guy, I mean, like that's a good-looking man. Like, did you see? Look at that guy.
Is he wearing suspenders?
Yeah.
Hey, you're a trucker. You got to wear suspenders.
Look at this guy. He's just living the dream out there in Lake Tahoe, just towing trucks.
I guess, huh? Damn.
Man. That's funny, Matt. Well, and the timing of that couldn't have been more perfect with those guys.
Oh, I know. It was one of the best things that Fanatics put out in a while. And
it was really, really good. Those guys did a great job with it. And it was good because Steele played with them, so he really was like comfortable. And some of the insight that he gave on the Rhodes era was pretty good too. So, all right, we got to get out of here. We are late. Chris has got to get to work. I got a meeting to get to. Maddie's got to get to work. Appreciate all of you guys watching. If you were here live with us, if you're listening on the Iowa Everywhere podcast, thank you so much as well. For Chris Hassel, my name is Chris Williams. We'll be back on Thursday. Legends and Listeners live today at 2 o'clock.